That's great.
Your temple. So this can go, like this is the front of the train, the figures are going out that way.
Right.
I was just thinking if you could just sit up like that, like it's on the front.
Just weld it in.
Yeah, I'm gonna weld it either there or over here somewhere.
Right.
That's how I'd sort of done it in that, but there's something cool about this. I don't know. We can decide that later.
I kind of like over there just because
Yeah.
there's going to be so much going on over
On
here.
that side, and it sort of indicates the front of the train, you know,
Yeah.
little headlighty thing or whatever. So, yeah, I think this is the spot.
Great.
But it does hang over the plinth, but it's going to be 10 feet up in the air. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. That's my only issue with
So the
it over
plinth is
here.
what, about 3 feet high?
3 feet.
3 feet high, okay.
And then this is 7.
And so when this is all installed, this is probably about 800 pounds?
Yeah.
Once it's bronzed and cast?
Bronze,
okay.
yeah, and the two of them together, because she'll be obviously welded to, the whole thing will be welded together.
And she's gonna be holding on
Yeah,
to
so
right here?
she, I still have to make that's what I was doing, I was calling, there's a lumber yard right there. She's designed, like this is how she holds on.
And so she'd be holding on
So
to...
now I've gotta make, no, these are just structural, these won't be here. This is a little short.
Okay.
But this is like a handrail
Oh, okay. I see what
on
you're saying.
that. So she'll be, you know, so basically she stands on it like this with her feet on and she's like that. And then his foot's on here and he's like that.
Gotcha.
So that's the attachment point. So
I didn't realize
Gotta make
how,
it.
I mean, I knew how big this was gonna be, but until you actually see it built, I mean, this
Yeah.
is,
I know.
this is very...
It's been insane in here.
Yeah.
I mean, because I cleaned the shop last night. I thought, oh, I better make it so people can see. But like having the 3 figures here, it's just been
Because there's,
huge.
you know, like when you get off the freeway and you take a right on Ventura,
Uh-huh.
is this Ventura? Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's that guy, it's like a
Oh,
cowboy
right.
that's sitting, like, is that the same size as this?
Yeah, that looks like a life-size piece.
I mean, that thing's huge. Like,
Yeah.
if I can see it from my car coming off the freeway, I can't believe.
Yeah, this will be good. I
this is
think
gonna be
in
very
terms of
iconic.
driving along Rosemead,
Yeah.
this has even more presence. You know, this will be up high, the Temple City sign. I think it'll be really eye-catching. You know, as well as because the male kind of comes out to about here. He hangs out about 4 or 5 feet.
So if
So
we're
it's-
looking at the seating area, then the seat is right here?
Let's see, if for the
Because this is going to be at the hat, right?
well, I'm using the same train piece for
Okay.
both pieces.
Gotcha, okay.
So I'm making a mold of it, but I'm gonna cast it twice. So with that seating, let's see, she reaches out this way. Let's see, I haven't thought about the hat. Yes, the street is there. The
Right.
street runs this way. For the female, she's out, yeah, this is outside the hat, so she's reaching out this way, and the seating area goes like that and here.
Okay.
I think this, yeah, so this is the plinth, and then a little seat thing comes out like this, back like this, over and out. The hat's here, and she's reaching kind of this way, so she's seen by the seating people.
So she's actually interacting with the people that will sit there.
We'll sit there and be looking at the hat.
Gotcha, okay.
For him,
Near Starbucks.
yeah, near Starbucks, so now the street is that way.
Starbucks is
Starbucks
behind
is,
you.
no wait, wrong. Starbucks is that way.
Okay.
The street's behind me. Starbucks is there. He's here. He's like this because Starbucks is there because there's a walkway that goes along here with the bus stop right there. So I had to keep the pathway clear. So he's sitting like he's like this, and the plinth is here, and then the seating goes out like that. So that your seating node is like this with him hanging this way, again, facing the seating people and facing the Starbucks.
Okay, gotcha.
Street behind him.
Okay, so they're facing in that patio off of Starbucks then?
Yeah,
Very
yes.
cool. Okay.
Exactly. And then the street behind, so from the, if you're driving along the street, you'll see the Temple City train and him coming back like this.
Gotcha.
And there's about 8 feet, I think, between the plinth and, so I'm fine, all the regulations and stuff, but,
Hi, I'm Brian Howarth. I'm the assistant to the city manager here at the city of Temple City, and I'm with Daniel Stern, artist for 2 sculptural elements along Rosemead Boulevard. And Daniel, if you wouldn't mind
Hi.
providing an introduction.
Hi, I'm Daniel Stern, and I was lucky enough to be chosen by your town to make these sculptures. So it's been a process, actually. Here's where we started with our models. When I met everybody, I sort of had this idea of honoring your red car trolley system and the history involved in that. So I designed 2 sculptures of a man jumping on that train to the future and a woman reaching out a helping hand. So that's called Jump On, and this one's called Helping Hand. And so you were kind enough to pick me, and now I've made them into the life-size sculptures. So I'm still finishing the train piece. This is going to be the train. I can show you again. Just as you can see, here's our Temple City sign, which will sort of complete the train piece here, or here. And again, just to show you how it's close to finished, but a work in progress. Still need to put the handle on it, and this is where he'll be jumping on the train and she'll be reaching back off the train. And over here is the finished female figure. The man's already been completed and he's in the Foundry. And here's the life-size version of the maquette that I made. Yeah, it's been somewhat challenging to design her. You can see all the infrastructure that goes into the building of it. There's foam inside there, covered with clay, obviously. But in order to keep it strong while I'm making it, I've had to build this whole infrastructure to keep her in place. When I finish and she's in bronze and she's welded to the base and all that, the metal's strong enough in the internal structure that we're going to put inside her that she'll be suspended in air like that. The bronze will be welded to the base and it'll all be tight and strong. But at this point, it obviously doesn't have the inner strength to be standing in such a precarious position. But yeah, here she is.
And can you explain to us the next steps? Now that she's done, where are we going now?
Yeah, so the next thing that happens is I've finished my work in the clay, and then the Foundry is coming to pick her up on Monday. So they're going to need to make a mold of her in order to cast her in bronze. But she's too big to make a mold in one piece, so what they're going to do is chop her up into smaller pieces, and then when she gets to bronze, we'll weld her back together. So they're going to cut the arms off, legs off, that flying jacket will come off, the feet might be separated, and then they'll make a mold of each piece. So I'll have and then they'll make a wax impression. Actually, the lost wax process. A quick lesson on that. They'll make a wax version of it, of each piece. They'll take that wax and they roll it in a very fine sand, actually, to start with, so that it's every nook and cranny of the hair so that's in wax. They want to get every detail, so it gets inside there. The next day they'll put more sand in, and they'll keep caking it on. The sand gets grainier and grainier till the outside is cement. And now we have inside there her wax version. but it's in a cement ball. Now they'll take the molten bronze, pour the bronze into that, the wax from the heat melts away, the bronze takes its place in all those nooks and crannies, smash the concrete, and there you have a bronze version with all that detail in it. Now we'll take those individual bronze pieces, weld them back together according to the map that we've made of how exactly it goes back together, and then she's a bronze. Inside of her, the tricky part with this is we need to build a steel infrastructure on top of the, besides the bronze. Inside she'll have steel pipe like this that will be welded throughout the internal parts of her, and then come through her feet and into the plinth so that she's rock solid. Really connected to the base of the train as well as the plinth, so that if anybody wants to climb on her or take a picture with her, it's totally secure and safe. So that's sort of the process. I've been sculpting for 3 months, and there's 3 months more to go of the welding and the mold making and stuff. So it's a very long process, but worth it.
Are the molds kept in perpetuity? In other words, God forbid 5 years from now a car runs into it.
Yes.
Could you make a new one?
Yes, I can make, that's the beauty of the molds. Usually, you know, it's the same process for not just a commission, but for an art piece. I do editions of 8. You know, usually my bronze sculptures are, try to do limited editions, but yeah, the mold is the beauty of it, because you can do another one, or if, God forbid, something happens to this, the mold is there to go back and say what it was supposed to look like at the time.
But Jerry, just for clarification, this one right here, this is the only one that he's going to be making. It's unique only to Temple City, so there won't be, you know.
No, I'm not
additions
doing
to
multiples at this
right.
point, no.
Right.
So this is a rare piece.
Yeah. Yeah, train they're gonna take apart. I've built the train. Again, this is too big to do all in one mold, so these little tags here, that's where I've part away and do it in sections, but I didn't want them sawing it, so I've pre-designed it so it comes apart and can be, again, cast, made the mold of and cast and then put back together.
Does the foundry decide where the cuts are made, or do you?
I've worked with the same foundry long enough that I know what they want, and we talked about it as I was making it. So I wanted to make it foolproof. Not that they're fools, I'm the fool. But yeah, the cutting, like the jacket actually was the trickiest. Inside the jacket, I couldn't do foam to, I had to make a structure. The best structure I could come up with was chicken wire. And so chicken wire threaded with aluminum rod, actually. I took chicken wire, threaded aluminum rod in it that can hold its shape, so that the chicken wire gives the flat bulk, but this gives holding strength to whatever kind of shape I wanted to do. The tricky part was chicken wire, when you saw it, it's not very sturdy. It wiggles. So I had to design it so that the chicken wire ends here and it holds. So this is actually a separate piece that'll move away, and I can make the cut right here. So it's pure clay right along this little map that I've given myself here, because the cut was very important. Otherwise, if they're sawing that jacket and the saw gets cut in the chicken wire, it'll start to, mess with the shape and the integrity of it. So there's a lot of pre-planning that does go into how the mold is going to be made in order to make it simple and, like I said, foolproof. Because it's very painful to watch them chop your beautiful woman up in pieces, as we all know.
I can't get over the incredible detail on this hair. That's amazing. So it can...
Still a little more to do. That was a couple days of like, scratch, chip, it's like, but the mold will catch all that detail, which is important. I think the hair is sort of fun and adds another layer of life to her, and yeah, it's It's crazy, but I'm almost done.
Now, you're a well-known actor, but have you always had this gift of?
The sculpture thing, I did sculpture in high school. I did most of the artistic things, the theater thing and choir, and not a lot of academics, but I did do the sculpture. But then, yeah, the acting thing sort of took over, kids took over. But about 10 years ago, I found some time, kids gone, garage empty, and started doing it again. And then, yeah, just really found a lot of artistic, you know, in the acting in the showbiz world, you got to wait for somebody to pick you. I get to go to work every day now, and I get to be an artist every day, express my stories in a way that's personal and unfiltered, and so yeah, this has become a huge part of my life actually. And although it's a perfect mix, I'm going to go do a TV series now, so I'm ready to get out of this room too. I've been in here for a number of months just working on this, and it's like, my son said to me the other day, he said, boy, you know, the sculpture used to sort of be your release from show business. I said, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some show business just to stop sculpting for a little while. So, but I've got the perfect life that way, really. I've got a lot of artistic endeavors going on in multi, you know, in multiple facets of my life, and really lucky to be able to bounce back and forth and keep my juice going that way.
Well, we're excited to have it. I guess it has to be thrilling for you to know that something that you created is going to be around for after all three of us are gone.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, you know, and it's there's also something fun about, I found it in the movies too, those things go on forever, you know, and that the people are smiling or laughing or interacting with it while I'm not even there. I love that people watch my movies and there's somewhere somebody's watching something and giggling. Or when these are up, there'll be people enjoying them, smiling at them, and I'm not even there, they're just existing on their own. And there's something kind of big about that as an artist, where you're, you know, it's got staying power, longevity. I grew up in the theater, you know, that's how I started. That's gone that night. You didn't see the show? It's over.
Mm-hmm.
But the film has that longevity, and certainly the bronze sculptures have that kind of life, which, yeah, it's worth the time and investment that it takes, because it does have that kind of staying power.
Speaking of story, can you talk a little bit about what inspired you to make on Jump On and Lending Hands?
You know, I was, well, I mean, I was looking at your city history, and I was trying to think of what's the story of your town. And I thought the red car thing was huge. It seemed to change, it connected you with the world. There was an agricultural business, but, I mean, an agricultural town, but that red car seemed to really connect Los Angeles, the businesses, the ag business, and connected to the world. And I thought that was a good symbol of not only your past but your future, in terms of taking that train. That train took Temple City into the future, and I think your city and your Rosemead project is about moving your town towards the future, new opportunities, new population, new diversity, and your town is lovely and moving into the future. And so I saw that train as a vehicle to the future. And so I said to myself, well, I mean, also I like to create a dynamic sculpture, so I wanted to have dynamic poses, but don't miss that train to the future, I said. You know, you got to jump on, because this town is on the move. And so I thought that was a good way of saying, hey, hop on, the train is going to the future. And the same thing with the woman is that when that train is going to the future, well, we're not going to leave anybody behind. We're going to reach out. We're good neighbors. We're good citizens. You have a great civic pride and civic duty, and we're going to make sure that everybody's on the train to the future. And that was the idea behind I mean, I love the dynamicness of it, and I love the balance and all that, but that was the message and the thoughts behind them. when you direct a film, you've got a vision for it, but in order to get that vision, you have to have a cinematographer, actors, wardrobe people, lighting guys. It's the same with the major sculpture too. I can have the inspiration, I can do the sculpture. Engineering, welding, patinas, the structural foundations of it is, they're all partners in the process, and that's a huge part of it. And I love that interaction, actually. I mean, that the collaboration of it. And it's good to have my Foundry folks who trusted collaborators. It's like working with the same team again.
Yeah.
So that's that's an important, huge important part of it.
So I know that the Public Arts Commission is going to be coming out to the Foundry. I believe it's in Hawthorne or Gardena.
Uh-huh.
When are we going out there? Is it at the end of March? And that's when we're going to start seeing the final product?
You'll
Being
see,
cast,
I mean, I
or-
don't know whatever anybody wants to do, they can come. The next thing that will come out is the waxes. So the wax pieces. Yeah, one of the other challenges I was just talking about was not only the design of it, but the ADA requirements of it. If you come over here for a second and look at the models, so here's the plinth that it sits on. This is a little mock-up of the seating area, which will then sort of continue on. But the issue is for ADA, for whether it's wheelchair or blind people, both these sculptures are hanging over in space. And so because I was sort of fitting my sculpture into an existing floor plan, it got a little tricky. But the engineers and the city planners at Temple City and I sat down and said, okay, well, we love the design, but how do we make it ADA compliant? And what we've decided to do is to, underneath this area, make a garden. And the same with under him. Under here, there'll be a garden or planters, so that if a person is walking, a blind person walking with their stick, they can feel a change of terrain and know that they're coming into something, and just sort of reroute traffic. So that was one of the interesting parts of the. Once I came up with the design, not only in engineering to make it stand up and be strong, but to make it ADA compliant, and that was. So next time, we will plan the sculpture ahead of time so we don't have to retrofit the ADA requirements. So just in terms of the materials, the bronze material, obviously we use the bronze and it's been used through the ages because it's strong, durable, beautiful. And in order to keep because when we're done, this will all be patinaed, obviously. Patina is the process of colorization of it. That's done with a series of acids and fires. You have different acids, when you heat them, turn different colors. Ferric acid, liver, there's a number of different acids that silver nitrates can have a silver color, and then with a blowtorch, that's what really brings out the color. So once you have it patinaed the way you like it, in order to maintain that, all bronzes are covered with a thin coat of wax that keeps the water out and as importantly, the air out. Out here in Camarillo, where my studio is, the salt air, some of the bronzes I have, that salt in the air starts to turn the bronze green. You've seen many green bronze sculptures. That's the aging process of bronze. And in order to slow that down, because that will happen, but in order to slow that down over the years, it's covered in wax. That keeps the water out and the salt airs out. And so a constant, like a once a year re-waxing of the bronze is very important to keep that patina. And to take any, on this one, I have a feeling if it rains, I hope it rains, little puddles of water in the jacket, those are good to get off there too, just so not have sitting water on it. Again, that water might start to come through the wax, and it takes a long time for it to actually have its effect, but that's why we try to keep them waxed at least once a year.
Who is doing the final patina or that kind of work? Is the bronze...
The Foundry.
The Foundry is
yeah,
doing it?
the Foundry's called MC3.
But they do it at your wishes. In other
Yes,
words,
I stand with the patina guy who knows what he's doing, and I say, not so red, more red, less of that.
I see.
And we sort of, yeah, that's, again, it's like film with the cinematographer. It's like, I don't know how to say what I want for the lighting, but I know when it's right, and I know when it's not right. So that's the way I talk with my patina guy is, I want it more lively, or whatever language I use with him, and he gets it, and then he executes. But that's all done at the Foundry. Their place is incredible. Actually, maybe you'll come down there and film, because they've got one section for the waxes, one for making the mold, one for melting the bronze. There's thousands of sculptures all around. It's really quite insane place, and but a lot of sculptors there just working on their thing, so it's a very fun, energetic place to go to. But yeah, you'd come see the process.
Careful, Daniel. Yeah. Right.
Sort of like that.
Right.
And the figure will be here, so it gets kind of busy on this side, but it's okay, that's the plan. It's a separate piece, and we can
So
decide.
we can decide.
We can
Yeah.
decide,
Okay,
that's
good.
and that could be even a
Yeah.
commissioner's decision if they...
Decision about which place,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, we should check, we'll check the ADA aspect of it, because I know, like, especially,
That'll be 10 feet up.
yeah, but you have to remember there's bus and stuff like that, so there's that clearance.
Yeah, exactly.
From
So
the
I made it
backside.
flexible,
Okay.
but
Yeah, I think we're good.
that's an open,
Yeah.
and again, it can be a
And then what's
commissioner.
the length of that?
Huh?
What's the length of
I
that?
think I made it 30. If you've made a commitment to your town to improve it,
Mm-hmm.
everything goes up, and I think the art is a nice part of that. But,
Yeah.
you know, but it's that commitment I think is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Wish I could
interesting,
get my
you know.
town to get off the schneid.
It's so interesting.
Leslie, can you tell us why public art is important in each community?
Yes, I can. I think what's important about public art in a community is that the commitment to art in a community is really a reflection of the community's value system. And what it says is that the community feels that art adds something to the soul of the community and to the further advancement and vision and dreaming possibilities of people in the community. You know, as I had mentioned earlier, I think one of the things that's so great about the Rosemead Project is that it's a variety of artistic styles for everyone to be able to appreciate something, and that as the city goes about developing its collection of art, that it continue to reflect that diversity, very much akin to the diversity of the city itself. Is there someone that you have used before that you are comfortable with in installation? I have a bunch of people.
All right, Daniel, I'm almost 70 years old, and my grandkids are watching your other legacy, Home Alone 2.
Oh, God.
And Home Alone. So what do you consider this as a part of your legacy? How have you gone from acting to creating beautiful art?
You know, the acting, it's all sort of the same thing. They've merged to me in my artistic life. I'm telling stories. I'm telling a story. I've told stories in movies and theater and things like that as an actor, director, writer. And I'm still trying to tell a story. I told you the story of the Temple City train and the red car and the people jumping on and the history. And so this is just another way of me to tell stories to people, which is something humans have been doing since cave people around the fire. What happened to you today? Or what's funny to you? Or what means something to you? So these are different stories, but I think it's still sort of all the same thing. Just I'm a born storyteller, and this is another way of telling a story. That at one point, my wife was helping me write something, and she said, "Yeah, these are like one frame of a film." So there's a story that happens before this and a story that happens after this. But at this moment, this is the moment that she decided to reach out and give a helping hand. And so you can make up your own story as to what happened before or what happened after. But I'm just telling you this one frame of the film.